Israel, land of faith, conflict, and innovation. At the crossroads of history and destiny, Israel is a nation where ancient scriptures and modern politics collide. Revered as a holy land by three major religions, it has been contested, destroyed, rebuilt, and reborn across millennia. From biblical kingdoms to global high-tech leadership, Israel's story is one of resilience, reinvention, and relentless complexity. Today, it is a center of innovation and a flashpoint of geopolitical tension, surrounded by adversaries, sustained by global alliances, and defined by a fierce sense of identity. This is the journey of Israel, through empires, wars, and survival, to a state both ancient and modern. 1. Ancient and medieval history. Israel's historical roots trace back over 3,000 years. The land, known as Canaan in early records, became home to the ancient Israelites, a Semitic people who established the Kingdom of Israel around the 11th century BCE. Under monarchs like King David and King Solomon, the first temple was built in Jerusalem, symbolizing a centralized state and religious unity. By the 6th century BCE, Babylonian forces sacked Jerusalem, destroyed the first temple, and exiled the Jewish elite, an event etched into Jewish identity as the Babylonian captivity. The Second Temple was later built under Persian patronage but met a similar fate when the Romans crushed a Jewish revolt in 70 CE, leaving only the Western Wall, still sacred to this day. Following the Bar Kokhba revolt, 132 to 136 CE, Rome renamed the province Palestina and expelled much of the Jewish population. What followed was a nearly 2,000-year diaspora, in which Jewish communities endured exile, persecution, and longing for a return to Zion. Throughout the Middle Ages, the region shifted hands, from Byzantine to Islamic caliphates, to Crusader kingdoms, then to Mamluks, and eventually the Ottoman Empire, which ruled for 4 centuries. Despite these changes, a continuous Jewish presence remained, particularly in cities like Jerusalem, Tiberias, and Safed, interwoven with Christian and Muslim communities. 2. Political systems and modern conflict. Modern Israel emerged from the ashes of World War II and the horrors of the Holocaust. In 1947, the United Nations approved a partition plan, dividing British Mandate Palestine into Jewish and Arab states. The Jewish leadership accepted, Arab leaders rejected it. On May 14, 1948, David Ben-Gurion declared the State of Israel. The very next day, 5 Arab nations invaded, launching the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. Israel survived and expanded beyond the UN plan. Today, Israel is a parliamentary democracy. It has no formal constitution but operates under basic laws that outline the structure of government. Power is divided among the Knesset, a 120-member parliament, the prime minister, and the president, a largely ceremonial head of state. Elections are proportional, often resulting in fragmented coalitions, a source of both democratic vibrancy and political instability. Political conflict in Israel is both internal and external. Domestically, debates rage over the role of religion in the state, the rights of Arab Israeli citizens, who comprise 20% of the population, and tensions between secular and ultra-Orthodox communities. Waves of political instability have triggered frequent elections, 5 and under 4 years, often revolving around security, corruption, and judicial reform. Externally, Israel's conflict with the Palestinians remains central. After the 1967 Six-Day War, Israel occupied the West Bank, Gaza, and East Jerusalem. While peace treaties were signed with Egypt, 1979, and Jordan, 1994, efforts with the Palestinians, notably the Oslo Accords in the 1990s, stalled. Periodic wars in Gaza, settlement expansions, and violent uprisings, intifadas, have deepened mistrust. In recent years, political polarization has sharpened, particularly over proposed judicial reforms and the status of the Supreme Court. Viewed by some as a liberal check on conservative coalitions, protest movements have surged, revealing deep societal fractures even within one of the Middle East's most robust democracies. 3. Military power and intelligence. Israel's military is among the most advanced and battle-tested in the modern world, shaped by its regional isolation and frequent conflict since its founding in 1948. Known officially as the Israel Defense Forces (IDF), Its doctrine is built on deterrence, rapid mobilization, and maintaining a qualitative military edge over regional adversaries. The structure. The IDF includes three main branches: the ground forces, air force, and navy, all unified under a single command. It operates under mandatory conscription, requiring most Israeli citizens, men and women, to serve for 2 to 3 years, creating a reserve force that can be rapidly activated in times of crisis. Israel's Air Force, IAF, is considered the strongest arm of its military. It has long-range strike capabilities, cutting-edge F-35 stealth fighters, and a large fleet of drones and helicopters. The IAF played key roles in operations like the 1981 bombing of Iraq's Osirak nuclear reactor and more recent precision strikes in Syria, Lebanon, and Gaza. The Navy, though smaller, plays a strategic role in protecting maritime borders, especially near the eastern Mediterranean gas fields. Submarines reportedly capable of launching cruise missiles serve as part of Israel's second strike nuclear capability. Weapons and defense systems. Israel is renowned for its missile defense technology, developed in partnership with the United States. The most iconic system is the Iron Dome, which intercepts short-range rockets, often fired from Gaza or southern Lebanon, with astonishing accuracy. Other layers include David's Sling, designed to stop medium-range missiles; Arrow 2 and Arrow 3, capable of intercepting ballistic missiles at high altitudes, including those potentially launched from Iran. Israel is also a nuclear-armed state. Though it maintains a policy of strategic ambiguity, it neither confirms nor denies possessing nuclear weapons. Analysts estimate Israel may have 80 to 90 warheads, potentially deployed on land, sea, and in aircraft. The intelligence community. No discussion of Israel's power is complete without mentioning its intelligence apparatus, considered among the most effective in the world. Mossad handles foreign intelligence, counterterrorism, and covert operations. It's been linked to sabotage missions in Iran, the capture of Nazi war criminal Adolf Eichmann in Argentina, and cyber attacks like Stuxnet, which allegedly disrupted Iran's nuclear program. Shin Bet, or Shabak, focuses on domestic security and counterterrorism. Amman, the military intelligence branch, supports battlefield operations and strategic analysis. Mossad recruits globally, uses advanced AI and human intelligence, and coordinates closely with allies, especially the U.S. and European partners. Strategic partnerships and challenges. Israel receives approximately $3.8 billion in annual military aid from the United States, most of which is used to purchase American-made defense systems or fund joint R&D projects. This partnership has bolstered Israel's technological edge and diplomatic weight. However, Israel faces complex strategic challenges. Hezbollah, Iran-backed and based in Lebanon, possesses tens of thousands of missiles. Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad frequently launch rockets and tunnel attacks from Gaza. Iran remains Israel's main geopolitical rival, particularly over its nuclear program. In recent years, Israel has carried out a campaign between the wars, a strategy of preemptive strikes and cyber operations to degrade enemy capabilities, often in Syria, Iraq, or even Iran, without sparking full-scale war. 4. Economic innovation. Despite its small size and limited natural resources, Israel has built one of the most dynamic and resilient economies in the world. Often called the startup nation, Israel leads in innovation, with the highest number of startups per capita globally and a thriving tech ecosystem rivaling Silicon Valley. The foundations of growth. Post-1948, Israel's economy relied heavily on agriculture and foreign aid, which accounts for over 15% of GDP and more than 50% of exports. Key areas of innovation include early efforts in irrigation and desert farming, exemplified by the kibbutz system, helped feed the growing population. Over time, Israel transitioned toward high-value sectors, autonomous driving, and algorithmic trading. The World Bank classifies Israel as a developed economy, with a 2025 GDP of approximately $550 billion and GDP per capita, surpassing $55,000, among the highest in the region. Many veterans of Unit 8200, the IDF's elite intelligence unit, go on to found cyber startups. Supported by heavy investment in education, military R&D, Its key trade partners include the United States, European Union, India, China. Major offshore discoveries in the Leviathan and Tamar fields have turned Israel into a regional energy exporter, supplying Jordan, Egypt, and European markets via liquefied natural gas, LNG, infrastructure. And, increasingly, the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain following the Abraham Accords. The Palestinian economy depends on Israeli permits, trade barriers, and international aid. Though some Israeli firms employ Palestinian workers, full economic integration remains limited by politics and security restrictions, and immigration from skilled diaspora communities. Today, the country boasts a high-income, knowledge-based economy, tech and innovation. At the heart of Israel's growth is its technology sector, cybersecurity. Israel is a world leader, second only to the U.S. in cybersecurity investment, with urban tech elites pulling far ahead of rural and religious communities. And personalized medicine emerge from Israeli labs and startups. Artificial intelligence and big data. Israeli firms pioneer technologies in AI diagnostics, agritech and water tech. Innovations in drip irrigation, desalination, and water recycling have turned arid regions into productive farmland. As noted by the OECD, Israel combines a culture of innovation with advanced infrastructure and a skilled labor force, making it one of the most resilient economies amid global instability, drawn by its highly educated workforce and startup agility. In 2023, Tel Aviv was ranked among the top 10 global startup cities by Startup Genome. Biotechnology, breakthroughs in cancer treatment, gene therapy, defense tech, military R&D feeds into civilian applications, from drone technology to emergency response systems. Global tech giants, including Intel, Google, Apple, and Microsoft, have established major R&D centers in Israel. Trade and global ties. Israel's major exports include software, pharmaceuticals, medical devices, chemicals, diamonds, and agricultural produce. Natural gas has also become a game changer. In the West Bank, economic disparities remain stark. Challenges ahead. Despite its innovation economy, Israel faces socioeconomic challenges. Wealth inequality is rising. Housing costs have surged, sparking mass protests in recent years. Ultra-Orthodox, Haredi, communities often have low labor force participation, creating tension between welfare systems and growth. Geopolitical risk remains a factor for investors, especially during regional conflicts. Still, Israel's economic trajectory remains strong. 5. Religion and cultural identity. Israel is unlike any other country, a modern nation-state deeply rooted in ancient faith. Declared the Jewish homeland in 1948, Israel's identity is shaped by a powerful blend of religion, memory, and cultural survival. Judaism, a national and spiritual core. Roughly 74% of Israel's population is Jewish, but that identity is far from uniform. Israeli Jews are ethnically and religiously diverse. Ashkenazi, European, Sephardi, Spanish and North African, and Mizrahi, Middle Eastern, Jews bring distinct customs, languages, and rituals. Religion is woven into national life. Druze villages maintain ancient customs and serve in the Israeli Defense Forces, an unusual exception among Arab citizens. The Sabbath, Shabbat, is a weekly reset. Public transport halts, businesses close, and families gather. Holidays like Yom Kippur, Passover, and Rosh Hashanah are public observances. Tel Aviv is cosmopolitan, liberal, and largely secular, a contrast to the more conservative tone of Jerusalem. Some secular Israelis fear creeping theocracy. Some religious groups worry about cultural erosion. Hebrew, once a dead liturgical language, has been revived into a living national tongue, a powerful symbol of cultural rebirth. It blends ancient traditions with modern creativity, influencing the national calendar. At the heart of spiritual life is Jerusalem, sacred to Judaism, Islam, and Christianity alike. Here stand the remains of the ancient Second Temple, where today the Western Wall draws millions of pilgrims. Above it rises the Dome of the Rock. Israel has carved out a unique cultural identity, one rooted in resilience, shaped by immigration, and constantly evolving. One of Islam's holiest shrines, a powerful symbol of the city's layered sanctity. Other faiths and ethnic communities often live in self-contained neighborhoods, guided by religious courts and strict interpretations of Jewish law. They form a growing political bloc and play a contentious role in debates over military service, education, and public life. Though a Jewish state, Israel recognizes and protects the religious rights of minorities. Approximately 21% of Israel's population is Arab, mostly Muslim, Sunni, with smaller Christian and Druze communities. Mosques, churches, and holy sites are legally protected, and Arabic remains an official language alongside Hebrew. The city of Nazareth is a center for Christian Arabs and a pilgrimage site for global Christians. In Haifa and northern Israel, ultra-Orthodox, Haredi communities, about 13% of the population, secular versus religious, an ongoing tension. A central tension in Israel's identity is between religious traditionalism and secular modernism. Debates over marriage laws, public transportation on Sabbath, and military exemptions for religious students expose the deep divide over how Jewish law should shape public life. The Chief Rabbinate, a government-funded Orthodox authority, controls Jewish marriage, conversion, and burial, prompting many secular Jews to seek alternatives abroad or push for reform. Still, many Israelis find meaning in a shared cultural Judaism, one based not on daily observance, but on language, history, and identity. Culture, between heritage and global influence. Israeli culture is vibrant, bold, and globally influential. Cinema and television, like Fauda and Shtisel, earn international acclaim. Hebrew literature, from Amos Oz to David Grossman, explores themes of war, identity, and loss. Music mixes Jewish folk, Middle Eastern rhythms, and global pop, from Yemenite ballads to Eurovision hits. Cuisine reflects a diaspora kitchen. Hummus and falafel meet Eastern European pastries, North African stews, and Persian rice. Despite external conflict and internal divides. 6. Geography and travel appeal. The snow-capped Hermon Mountains, bustling Tel Aviv beaches, and ancient stone alleys of Jerusalem under lamplight. Though compact, just over 22,000 square kilometers, Israel contains a world of landscapes. From green highlands to red deserts, alpine snowfall to tropical shores. Its geography is as layered as its history, land of contrasts. To the north, Israel's Galilee region is lush and mountainous, dotted with biblical towns like Nazareth and the Sea of Galilee, the lowest freshwater lake on Earth. Farther northeast, the Golan Heights offer panoramic views of Syria and Lebanon, and in winter, Mount Hermon becomes a snowy retreat for skiers. In contrast, southern Israel is dominated by the Negev Desert, a vast, sun-scorched expanse that comprises over half the country. Here, rocky craters like Maktesh Ramon stretch for miles, a geological wonder carved not by meteors, but by erosion. Eilat, Israel's southernmost city on the Red Sea, is a gateway for scuba diving, dolphin watching, and coral reef exploration. To the east, the Dead Sea sits at 430 meters below sea level, the lowest point on Earth. Its hypersaline waters make floating effortless, while mineral-rich muds attract health seekers from around the globe. Just beyond rise the cliffs of Masada, a symbol of Jewish resistance, overlooking the Judean desert, Dead Sea stretching in the distance. The Central Highlands, including Jerusalem and the Judean hills, cradle ancient olive groves, pine forests, and stone-paved towns. The Mediterranean coast, meanwhile, boasts vibrant beach cities like Tel Aviv, Haifa, and Netanya, known for nightlife, surf, and modern art scenes. Urban appeal and cultural tourism. Bustling open-air markets in Jaffa. Pilgrims touching the Western Wall in Jerusalem. Tel Aviv is Israel's cultural and financial capital, a Mediterranean city with Bauhaus architecture, bustling cafes, and 24/7 energy. Often compared to New York or Berlin, it draws tech entrepreneurs, artists, and beachgoers alike. Jerusalem offers a stark contrast, spiritual, solemn, and steeped in millennia of conflict and devotion. Within its old city, for quarters, Jewish, Muslim, Christian, and Armenian, converge around sacred landmarks like the Western Wall, Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and Al-Aqsa Mosque. Other major cities include Haifa, built on Mount Carmel. It's home to the stunning Baha'i Gardens, a UNESCO site and global pilgrimage center. Acre, Akko, a coastal crusader city with underground tunnels and Ottoman markets. Nazareth, revered by Christians as the childhood home of Jesus. Beersheba, capital of the Negev and a growing university town. Tiberias, a resort town on the Sea of Galilee with Roman ruins and hot springs. Religious tourism and pilgrimage. Christian pilgrims walking the Via Dolorosa. Muslims ascending to Al-Aqsa on Eid. Israel draws over 4 million tourists annually, pre-2020, many for religious and historical reasons. It is a holy land for 3 major faiths. Jews visit sacred sites like the Western Wall, Masada, and ancient synagogues in Safed. Christians walk the Via Dolorosa, visit Bethlehem's Church of the Nativity, and tour the Galilee, where Jesus taught and performed miracles. Muslims, though restricted in some cases, regard Jerusalem's Haram al-Sharif, home to Al-Aqsa Mosque and Dome of the Rock, as the third holiest site in Islam. Travel considerations. Security checkpoints and tourist visa stamping process. Family taking selfies in front of the Dome of the Rock. Israel is highly accessible, with modern airports, high-speed rail, and a broad network of highways. Ben Gurion Airport, near Tel Aviv, is the primary international hub. However, travel often comes with political and security considerations. Areas of the West Bank and Gaza may be restricted or unsafe depending on conflict levels. Visitors may undergo intense security screening. Some Muslim-majority nations may restrict entry for those with Israeli passport stamps. Still, for many, Israel offers a profound and unforgettable experience, a living museum of human civilization, where deserts bloom, history whispers from the stones, and spiritual traditions pulse through modern life. Final reflection: Israel is a land of layers and paradoxes, a cradle of monotheism, a flashpoint of geopolitics, a desert-turned-digital powerhouse. Here, ancient prophets walked the same earth that now houses cybertech hubs, AI labs, and ironclad defense systems. Cities thousands of years old stand alongside glass towers and solar farms. For every prayer whispered into the cracks of Jerusalem's Western Wall, a data stream pulses through Tel Aviv's tech corridors. It is a nation defined by survival and identity, where memory fuels resilience, and every hill, wall, and border is charged with meaning. From the trauma of the Holocaust to the triumph of independence. From wars of defense to the pursuit of peace. From desert kibbutzim to quantum research campuses, Israel is always building, defending, and redefining itself. Yet, its story is not finished. The questions remain. Can a nation born of exile and struggle find balance between faith and innovation, security and coexistence? Can ancient promises reconcile with modern borders? This is not just a country. It is a living debate, a spiritual compass, a microcosm of the global struggle for identity, power, and peace. And this is Israel, the Atlas Vault, unlocking the world one nation at a time. Subscribe for more faceless, cinematic explorations of global history, power, and identity.